Hi, every startup enthusiast and fellow entrepreneurs. Welcome to the Startup Show video podcasting series, which is India's first podcasting series for founders. Now, what do we share? We share a lot of experience, a lot of new learnings, a lot of new strategies, a lot of productivity hacks of all the latest startups which has been launching day by day. And there are pretty interesting startups which they're working on, some interesting strategies they're working on. And we are here to uncover or unveil the new strategies in this podcasting series. And this is the best way to share the experience. And that's why I am here, and the other end, the professionals or the person who's really experienced into different marketing strategies, or else how did they start from ground zero, groundbreaking ideas, everything in this one platform and in this one video podcasting series. And that's why we are here to listen, to hear, and to experience how hard is it to start a startup from ground zero. Today, we have a very interesting startup. So I have been recently in touch with them from the past three months. And they were also being the part of the WebSummit 2019. And I'm really happy that they finally I got them on this call, because they were really busy with all the fundraising and other investment and other, it's 2020, so people will be obviously busy. But thankfully, I got Melinda Havas, who is the Chief Marketing Officer for Family Finances. And to describe what is family finance is something very interesting, because I just want to know more. So that's why I just wanted to make it as a video podcasting, so that everyone will be on the same page to know what they're working forward. So according to them, they have shared me a small description which explains which offers design-driven mobile banking solutions for financing innovators, with a special focus on millennials and Gen Z customers. So it's very particular, and they are very much targeting to a particular niche audiences. So this is the small introduction I have got about family finances, and we are here for a discussion with Miss Melinda Havas, who is the Chief Marketing Officer for Family Finances for this podcasting show. Hi, Melinda.
Hey, Varun. Thank you very much for having us here.
Thank you so much for joining this podcast. Like I was just thinking of this concept. How did it start? Like, since you were there from the initial stages of family finances, so you know all the stages of the startup from zero to a particular stage right now. So how did it start, and what is basically family finances? How did it start, and why did it start?
Yeah, well, interesting story. We founded our company in May 2017. And okay. Basically, two of our founders, so two co-founders, were colleagues at a global management consulting firm. And okay. They were fintech analysts, so they got to know the fascinating world of fintechs, and got to know the topic. And also really interesting insight that two of our co-founders, our head of design and also our CEO, are twin brothers. So okay. We can say this is a family business as well. And myself and two of our co-founders were working for 5 years in a non-governmental organization teaching high school kids. And okay. We realized that financial education, or that level of financial education and financial literacy, was very low. Okay. And also, during the financial crisis, the global financial crisis of 2008, more than 400,000 Hungarian families were affected by this whole issue. So the founders decided to take matters and the question of financial education into their own hands, and found their own startup company. So the basic aim of Family Finances is to revolutionize financial education, and we are dedicated to create a society with better financial consciousness that eventually results in a stronger economy.
Okay, so basically, I have recently, in this podcasting series, there was a startup which has also done the same concept, like it's called Pay It Forward. So and that was started by three women entrepreneurs, three amazing women entrepreneurs, aiming for the same mission of targeting millennials and Gen Z, because it's really important to educate youngsters, because even I'm not very much aware about how to manage my finances. So basically you are also doing the same thing, if I'm not wrong. Is there something new? Because I see a lot of a lot of things about UI UX implementing and designing. So giving them a user experience is something really focusing what you people are focusing, if I'm not wrong.
Uh, yeah, it's pretty similar. Usually market-wise, what we can say that we are unique is that we are operating in a B2B segment. So we are not directly targeting millennials and Gen Z. We're just trying to serve their needs, and our targets or our customers basically are banks and traditional banks and bigger financial institutions. So what we are trying to do is trying to help youngsters gain financial education without asking the price for it from them. So we are having banking clients, traditional banks, and also like other fintech startup companies, and we just integrate these educational features into our applications and what our partners and clients need.
So how it works? It's an application, right? It's an Android application, iOS application, right? So is it like segmented into particular lessons, or like particular milestones, or like what to do, what not to do, or is there any kind of structure, or what is how it works?
Yeah, well, the structure is kind of complicated, but I'm trying to like explain it as a
No,
whole.
maybe you can
So,
give an example that would be more easy, as a classic example which you found and you took that example as a case study.
yeah, okay. Basically, our operation is based on two pillars. On one hand, we have box products, like off-the-shelf, design-driven box solutions. And on the other hand, we have end-to-end research, design, implementation services. So our box products are, there are three of them. One of them is called Flint. That's end-to-end mobile-first remote lending solutions. So what we do here is that banks or any other financial institutions can integrate this application into their infrastructure, and then even customers that were not previously the customers of the given financial institutions can apply for a loan within 20 minutes. That's really millennial friendly solution because yeah, well, youngsters are willing to handle these issues on their phone. They don't have the time to spend too much time on these things. Also, they are overwhelmed by the too professional language of these kind of loan applications. So what we do here is like simplify the whole process. Also, there's another box solution, which is Rocket Money. This is a kind of a family banking solution. The basic concept is that youngsters have a separate application which is connected to the parents. So the parents can access the applications from their mobile banking app, and then they can on one hand give allowances to their children, and also they can review their transaction history. So it's kind of, it creates a transparent environment.
Children and the parents.
Yeah, and Gen Z is really like the generation who is willing to learn things by the principle of learning by doing. So they are not like the reading all the books and studying everything type, but they like to try things, and then they learn how to do it meanwhile. So that's why this is really a good solution for them, because they can learn these things in a safe environment. And also we have Drops, which is a chat-based instant payment platform. So we can say that it's kind of similar to Revolut, but the whole platform is chat-based. So the contacts can chat with each other and then send and request money peer-to-peer really quickly. And
Okay.
on the other hand, we have the end-to-end services, which is basically custom development. So we can either do just parts of the research design implementation process. Some of our clients only would like to have, for example, UX research or UX UI design. However, we can do the whole process end to end. So we had like bigger banking projects where we did the whole thing from one end to the other. And yeah, that's like a really good solution because large financial institutions can't just plug in a box product lots of times. And this is the way we can really easily customize the solution for them the way they like it or the way it's appropriate for them.
But just to understand the business, like family finances, so has three different other side, maybe child companies, if I can refer to, like, is it three different products, right? It's three different applications.
Yeah, it's three different box products.
Okay.
These are white label products, so
Okay.
they are not available in like App Store or Google Play. Because what we do is that there are the applications and we white label them, so we totally customize it to the to fit the branding of the client, and then the client launches it.
Okay. Okay.
But
So
yeah, like three different applications.
oh, okay, got it, understood. So based on the client's requirement, it will keep on changing.
Yeah, we can say that.
But the basic, the skeleton will be the same. The
Yes.
basic infrastructure. Got it, understood.
Yeah,
So,
but we also can modify that if there's a need. But yeah, that's basically the same.
okay, got it. So, like, I think you will be mostly working closely with banks and investors. Like, they will be your most of the clients, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, we have project-based works, and that's also fintech startups and smaller companies, and there are large-scale projects, which is or which are mainly conducted with banks.
Okay, with banks, got it. So that part is very clear. So, like, my next question would be for what is a customer acquisition strategy for family finances?
Yeah, so basically, since our customers are mainly banks and financial institutions, the most efficient customer acquisition strategy turned out to be applying to bank-backed accelerator programs. We really can recommend accelerator programs and also hackathons. It turned out to be great because here we have the chance to share our insights and prove that we can create design-driven youth banking solutions within a short time frame. I mean, talking about, hackathons, but accelerator programs as well. And also, accelerators are really great because we can directly work together with the bank, monitor their needs, see how they work. And that's why we can really make our solutions fit to what they need.
Got it, understood. So basically, apart from that, is there any other channels which you focus primarily for your customer acquisitions, like online presence? Like, how do you increase your online presence for family finances?
Yeah, well, that's an interesting question because we, of course, in 2020, it's pretty much obvious to have social media channels, and we have those, but in B2B, it works a little bit differently. So what we basically do is we are participating in high-end conferences, like, for example, WebSummit, you were mentioning, and Money 2020 Europe and Asia as well. Other huge conferences, Europe, mostly we're focusing on European conferences, but Asian conferences are also a great fit. And what we do is lots of times we're speakers, we have booths, we are gaining visibility, and basically that is what means a lot. So big banks need to see that you're trustworthy, that you you're a credible company, and the way you can gain this credibility is basically gaining visibility and also gaining traction. So this is kind of a circle. If they see that you're visible, you're gaining traction, and vice versa.
So it depends upon how it goes, right?
Like what do you mean?
So it basically goes like the events. The more events you attend, so the more event you attend, the more digital, the more presence you get through social media.
And the more clients we get, and if other clients see that we had really huge and credible clients, then they would like to be clients too. So this is how it all goes.
So like you said about clients, like when you go for events or when you go for particular conferences. So how do you evaluate the product market fit based on choosing your customer or choosing your clients? How do you understand that? What is the qualification metrics, or what is the funnel you use for that?
Yeah, well, it's really a difficult question in this industry, especially, we can say that. But what we do is we do constant research. I mentioned you the non-governmental organization, or the co-founders and I have been part of. And basically, in this student organization, we taught high school kids. So this remained to be our research panel. Because it's mainly Gen Z students, so we can do constant research with them, and also banks are doing their constant research. Okay. So it can be seen what the market wants. However, currently banks and traditional financial institutions are really much concentrating on the relatively new regulations like GDPR, MiFID2, PSD2, so these kind of things, and it's really hard to explain them that there's an underserved segment they need to target, and they currently are more afraid of regulators than they are afraid of the inappropriate customer experience. Okay. However, neobanks like Revolut and 26 and other big players, also big tech players are joining the market, like Google Pay and Apple Pay. So they are threatening them, and so the product market fit is kind of clear, because customers are starting to use like fintech challenger solutions instead of traditional banks. So it's clear that there's a need for these kind of services. Okay. However, the hard part is to make traditional financial institutions realize that the banking products are less important than the banking services, and millennial and Gen Z customers are more and more focusing on services as such.
Okay. So that way you categorize it. So, so how many clients you have worked with so far right now, and how many people actually, and what is the feedback response you're getting from your customers?
We had so far more than 15 clients altogether. Okay. 3 of them were huge financial institutions, 2 of them top Hungarian banks, amongst the top 5 Hungarian banks. Okay. And our metrics, it's really hard to touch because we're in not direct contact with the end users, of course. But for example, just small detail, during one of our fintech startup projects, so it was not one of the big banks, we did UX assessment, and then based on that, UI redesign of their website, and the conversion with we just highlighted a call to action button, for example, and the conversion rates grew by 15%. So okay. These kind of things can measure our success, but of course we're not in direct contact with the end user. So.
And how much average of an MRR is generated per month?
Like what do you mean by that?
basically the monthly revenue or annual revenue, basically how much you're generating. So
Uh,
because since working on these kinds of this kind, can you hear me?
uh, yeah, some kind of friction is in the line, but meanwhile I'm
Okay.
answering. So
Yeah.
I can't tell you like exact numbers, but
Yeah,
what we
a
can,
roughly a rough amount
yeah,
would
but
be.
what we can say is that we last year we reached a 10 time increase in our revenues compared
Okay.
to
Uh-huh.
2018, and our very rational and
Okay.
viable goal for this year is to even triple this number.
Triple this number. So what marketing strategies are you looking forward to work with, and what have you worked with, and what actually failed, what worked for you the most?
Okay, so what worked the most is like doing smaller scale projects and entering a financial institution with these smaller projects. You know, financial institutions are not having, as I mentioned, not having that much of trust towards smaller fintech companies, which is totally understandable because they don't know if they are going to perform, if they can meet the deadlines, reach their goals. So what really worked for us is do proof of concept and do smaller scale projects for them. And then we managed to do cross-selling within the bank. So for example, we entered the financial institution with a UX UI design project, and then we could spread and do other more large scale projects at the same institution as well. And
So
yes.
about the UX UI design, I didn't get the part. So you reach out to the financing institutions to work on the project, or what exactly happens there?
What we do is we believe in warm reach outs. So we are not really doing cold reach outs
Uh-huh.
so far. This is one of the reasons why we attend conferences as well, because then you can directly connect to the people.
Yes. Yes.
You can clearly explain what you do, how you can help them. So what we do is we connect to future potential partners and then explain like all of our products and services, and then they decide if we can help them in some smaller scale thing, and then if they see that we can perform and we are really doing what we should do and how we should do it, then they are hiring us for bigger projects as well.
Okay, got it. So like you were saying about the marketing strategy. So what marketing strategy are you going to work for this year, or what is the actual plan for the next 6 months, considering the marketing perspective?
Okay, so Rocket Money, I mentioned you,
Okay,
one of our
yes.
box products. This is kind of new, so we just launched it and finished it.
Uh-huh.
And
Uh-huh.
what we are going to do in the next 6 months is that we are creating this solution with an Australian partner of ours called GoSave. And what they do is they are targeting 6 to 12 years old kids with an actual hardware, which is a piggy bank. And this also teaches financial consciousness. And what we do is we provide an application, and we are covering the youngsters from 12 to 18 years old. So together with our partner, we cover the whole youth banking life cycle. And what we are doing right now is we are really focusing on showcasing this new product and this new project. And we are going to attend, as I mentioned, several high-end conferences with GoSave. And we are going to participate as speakers and hold presentations on financial consciousness of youngsters and how important this issue is. And basically, we are trying to gain visibility to this new product, and this is what we are really focusing on this upcoming 6 months.
So the Rocket Money. So basically, so like it's a white label product, right? So so how are you going to expand the reach, or how do you going to expand to get more clients for this? What channels
Uh,
are you trying to get into?
um, well, also, we are always happy to participate in other accelerator programs, as I mentioned,
Okay.
which is a really good opportunity.
Uh-huh.
We are currently applying to several programs, and yeah, well, also. As I mentioned, the conferences and the visibility is really valuable. So
Yes.
many of our clients reached out to us after seeing us at these conferences, uh, and our showcase just raised their attention
Yeah.
to these products, and they reached out for us.
Okay, great, great, great. So this is a question I just wanted to ask from the very beginning. How was your experience at the Web Summit for 2019? Because I believe this is the first time you guys are attending the event, right?
Yeah, sure, first time.
And that would be a very exciting moment, because there was more than 75,000 attendees and more than 3,000 startups, and they were among one of the startups, one of the featured startups from the startup show. And that was a really great piece of an honor to be among those startups. So how was the experience for you, Melinda?
Well, it was very unique,
Okay.
personally and company-wise as well, because none of us have participated at a conference as huge as Web Summit before. So
Okay.
we did not even have the company experience either. And for me, it was like personally also amazing, and. Yeah, it was like huge. It was on one hand, it was really great to connect with other startup companies, being in the same shoes, kind of from around the world. So I had the chance to speak to several fintech startups at the area where our booth was, and they were
Yeah.
also doing amazing things, and that was also really cool. And
Okay.
on the other hand, having our own booth, we had an alpha booth, it was
Uh-huh.
also a really great opportunity. Like lots of banks and financial institutions and investors approached, and they were really interested. And uh, I was uh, I was amazed that I was standing there like 8 hours the day when we had the booth, and like everyone was coming continuously, and everyone was really interested in what we were doing. And we came home with more than 25 leads, and some of them are converting currently. So we can say that it was one of the best chances we could get
That's
to showcase ourselves. Also,
that's great.
we
Yeah,
could
please.
hold a presentation at the startup showcase.
Showcase. Yes.
Yeah, so that
And
was
how did
also
it go?
amazing. Uh, uh, Pretty good. I was never doing a pitch presentation without a presentation before, so that was a new experience.
Okay.
But yeah, well, after the showcase, some visitors also approached us based on the presentation, so that was also really a cool opportunity for us.
Great. And what was the biggest learning you got from the Web Summit experience?
Uh, Two people should go. The biggest experience was it was so huge and so many things happened at the same time that I, I mean it would have been really useful if two of us could have gone to the conference. So
Okay.
next time, more people from the company is going to visit, because
Awesome.
it's
Awesome.
just too many things happening at the same time, and you
Yes.
can't be at two places at once.
Exactly. And that's why I am expecting this time maybe we will be also joining this 2020 Web Summit edition. And we'll be very happy to meet you at the Web Summit. I know there will be 70,000 or more than 70,000 people attending for this year. But yes, sure, we'll know how to, we'll find a way to figure out how to find each other. So that's great hearing your Web Summit experience and amazing learning as well. So your learning curve from the past 5 years, how would you rate yourself, like what all changes you have made for the company at this point of time, and when you look back and see all the marketing experience. You have all the marketing strategies you have worked with. What was the biggest challenge for you when you
Um,
as a marketer or as a chief marketing officer?
yeah, well, okay. At the very beginning, that was like the biggest change. Uh, is that we originally started in B2C,
Okay.
and then realized that it is way more feasible to operate in the B2B sector.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly because of the deal sizes.
Yeah.
Also, the marketing costs are considerably higher if you're trying to market a fintech application or banking application in B2C. The marketing costs are huge. So it is way easier to operate in B2B.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a huge change. Also, what else? Um, yeah, that's more like strategy wise. But what also changed is that originally we like all startup companies wanted to scale up real quickly, and
Uh-huh.
what we realized soon is that banking sales cycles are really long. uh, it's 12 to 18 months, while you can even enter a contract with huge financial institutions. So strategy wise, what we had to change and what we realized is that for stable constant operation, we need to do projects or smaller size projects with other startup companies, smaller companies. And this is why our company is currently based on two pillars, because this is how we can operate and how we are staying cash flow positive.
Okay, so considering like working with other people's within the team, and considering the perspective of as you being the CMO of the company, how hard is it to work with people, or how hard it is to be a leader for everyone and guiding them, how hard it is for you?
Um, well, I don't know. I mean, it's we have a huge team of designers and a huge team of
Uh-huh.
developers, and
Okay.
I'm not in like not in the direct leadership contact with them, because they are working on our products, and our daily operations are don't really meet. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, I'm only having direct contact with the board, the founders of our company, uh, which is actually great, because we're really on one hand, we're kind of a family business, as I mentioned, and we can say that we're close friends. So it's really like fun, I can say. So uh, we're doing this together as like like if it was everyone's hobby at the company, you know.
Great. This is nice. Like, even the name also sounds really great. Family finances. It's like very close, very family type of very nice. Like at first I was thinking with the name what it might be, but it turns out to be a very amazing product or service people are working right now. And this is just the beginning of 2020. There are many more months to come. There are many more stories to cover. There are many more experiences you're going to get. Even there's coming WebSummit editions. The 2020 editions are also going to come. So this is wonderful hearing a story from Melinda, who has been working for family finances from the past 5 years, and who is the CMO of the company. She's been here with us sharing her experience, and they have shared a very wonderful intro deck of how what is family finances and what all other white labeling products, like she mentioned about Rocket Money, and she mentioned about Flint, and there was one more, right? Revolt.
Drops, it's called.
Scrubs, yes. So we have they have three white labeling products at the same time. So there are a lot of things they're working with right now. So just to ask, it's a bootstrapping project, right? Is it a bootstrapping company, or is it invested back?
It's invest. I mean, we've got investors,
Okay.
financial investors,
Uh-huh.
but it's a Hungarian venture capital fund. This is
Uh-huh.
a seed investment. What we received last February, and
Okay.
the interesting or good thing is that we only used like the first the third of third. I mean, the first tranche, which is like 1/3 of the whole investment, and we didn't even need more because yeah, we're cash flow positive. So
That's great. That's great. So now I think there are more things to more investment seeding is going on right now. Like just had a discussion with Melinda. So all the best for the upcoming investment rounds and all the best for the upcoming years ahead. So this is Melinda Havas, the chief marketing officer, shared her wonderful experience. So this is not the end of the Web Summit, because there are a lot of new stories coming from the family finances. Because like I said, just a few seconds back, they are raising investment. That means they are going higher and higher. That means have to grow, and they have to show that they are capable to do more things. And that means there are more stories to come up, there are more strategies she's going to work with. So this is amazing. Melinda, you joined the show sharing your experience, and I will share the deck which Melinda has shared with me before the call. So I'll share that deck over in the descriptions, and I will share you the link to that PDF file through LinkedIn. And we are everywhere. So you can find our podcasting series in YouTube, and you can follow us on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, anywhere. We are everywhere. So just make sure you just follow this startup show, because there are a lot of more other stories going to come up with, and they have their own stories. And this is how a startup started from ground zero to a level where they are very proud of, and they're trying to grow more and more. So thank you so much, Melinda. So that was the best few words I can say about family finances and about you.
thank you very much for having us here.
Thank you so much. So this is the end of this today's podcasting episode. So we will be coming up with a lot of new stories, a lot of new experiences in this coming episode. So please stay tuned. Subscribe to the channel. I'll just drop the description in down below for family finances. Go check it out. If you want to reach out for partnerships, I will share you the LinkedIn profile for Melinda, so you can directly reach out to her and discuss or ask anything, because she's a very sweet person who gives immediate responses over email as well as over LinkedIn. So thank you so much again. So I will meet you next time. Thank you. Bye bye.
Where you